Hello, my name is Sanda Nafula. You're watching Zingi Women, an environmental show that aims at strengthening climate action by promoting gender equality.
Hello everyone, my name is Bernard Muhia. Welcome to the Zingi Environmental Series. Now this particular show is called the Zingi Women, where we highlight the stories of female conservationists who are doing an amazing job in conservation. So before we start, this is for you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Tell us what it says.
Okay. You have a radiant smile. It lights up the world. Never stop smiling.
Yeah. So the reason why I've given you that is because we're doing a campaign. So today we are at the shores of Lake Naivasha. You can see the lake behind me. And I'm here with the conservationist extraordinaire, Mary Kimani. Karibu kwa show.
Thank you so much.
Tell us, what do you do here?
Okay, I'm Mary Kimani. I'm a conservationist and the chairperson of Lake Naivasha Biodiversity Youth Group. It's a youth group that comprises of passionate conservationists and environmentalists at the same time who conserve, do environmental education and awareness, and impact the less privileged in the society. We work with Nature Kenya since we are a site support group within Lake Naivasha. Yeah.
Now I'm curious, how did you find yourself in conservation?
My journey of conservation started when I was 6 years old.
Really?
Yeah. I have grown. Later I joined Kenya Wildlife Training Institute where I learned tour guiding by profession, but I decided to major in bird identification. Since after bird identification, I could not only major, I needed to conserve the environment because majority of birds live within trees, and I found my passion I started by planting trees. I started Lake Naivasha Biodiversity Conservation in year 2020, where we are to impact kids, school-going kids, and also conserve the environment since there's a bigger knowledge gap within Naivasha between the conservationists and the community.
Okay. How would you define conservation and biodiversity?
Always define biodiversity as the surrounding. There are different species of animals and plants, and when combined, they make the biodiversity.
What excites you about biodiversity or the environment?
What excites me about biodiversity is if we threaten the nature, which is the environment, it will always come back and punish us as human beings. So if we fail to conserve nature, it won't stop punishing us. Yeah.
How can it or would it punish us?
Like I would say, for instance, the climate change. That's one punishment that you are getting for lack of conserving the nature. Yeah.
And what kinds of ecosystems do you have in your area of conservation?
Within Naivasha, we have three. The riparian zone, which we are at right now, the arid grasslands, and also the sub-Saharan shrubs run, we have the shrubs, which covers majority of the area within Naivasha, apart from the riparian zone.
What challenges face these ecosystems?
The ecosystem, Naivasha being a dry land, at times we lack rain, and also we'll say there's a lot of pollution happening from the flower farms and chemicals used by farmers, because Naivasha is also a horticultural town.
Yes.
And it being a horticultural town, people no longer, the big farms use a lot of chemicals for the growth of their vegetables and flowers.
So do they then release that into the lake?
At times back, they used to release the water from the greenhouse to the lake. But after the outcry from the community and NEMA, they no longer do it. They treat the water before releasing it to the lake.
Okay. Now we've talked of ecosystems. What about ecosystem services? What are they?
The ecosystem services are the supporting, okay, we'll say they contribute to the well-being of the human and an impact on the survival of humans and other mammals.
What will happen if we don't stop biodiversity loss?
If we don't stop biodiversity loss, we as humans will continue to suffer. One challenge being the prolonged rains. Secondly, there will be, for people bordering, the community bordering, maybe the parks, there will be conflict between them and the wildlife. Since the wildlife will get out of the protected areas to come and search for food and water.
Now, while you're doing your conservation, are there challenges that you face?
Yeah.
What are they?
Rejection from the community, knowledge gap between we who are conserving as youths and also the youths, school-going kids, just hear the term conservation, but they don't know what conservation means in details.
Okay. Now we are at the lake. We are at the shores of the lake, and some years back, the lake had swollen and busted banks. How did that affect you or the residents here?
Okay, partly I would say the residents living around the lake had grabbed the riparian land, so they didn't give the lake the distance. And as it's known, Lake Naivasha was one way all the way to land, so they didn't give the lake. So as degradation and loss of water, decrease of water levels had gone down after the increase of the waters, people were forced to move out of their homesteads because their homesteads were occupied by water. Yeah.
You're saying the lake used to go up to the highway?
All the way to the railways back in the 1970s.
Okay.
But as water subsidies, people follows the water.
Okay.
So they didn't ever think the rise, this did not only affect Lake Naivasha generally.
True.
So after the rise, so many people were displaced by the rise of the water levels.
Yes.
Yeah.
Has it gone back to its
Not really, it has subsided just a little because of lack of rainfall.
Okay.
Since Lake Malewa is the biggest water source of Lake Naivasha, right now it doesn't have water, so the water levels are dramatically decreasing. Yeah.
Now, earlier on, you mentioned that you did something on identifying birds, or working with birds.
Yeah.
And we've seen a lot of marabou stock around here. What species around the lake are threatened?
The gray-crested helmeted shrike, they live within acacia's tree. They are critically endangered, according to ICUN. And we also have the gray-crowned cranes. Apart from the gray-crowned crane, we have the southern ground hornbill. They are endangered. Some being vulnerable, some being critically
endangered.
Yeah.
And what would you say has caused this?
Habitat loss being one of the issues.
Okay.
Human activities, like you find for the habitat loss, like for the southern ground hornbill, they nest on trees. These trees are no longer there. Humans have cut down the trees for either construction or for business purposes,
True.
leaving the birds nowhere to nest.
True. If these endangered and critically endangered species were to go extinct, what would be the repercussions of that?
We'll say if they are threatened and they go to extinct, that is a sign of that other species of birds will follow, being critically endangered and finally going to extinct. It's a loss to Kenya, maybe as a tourism destination, since you find some of the birds are only extinct to the country.
So tourists can just go somewhere else.
Yeah, for the ontology, for the ontology tourists who specifically visits the country to see specific birds, they will no longer visit the country. Yeah.
So we are speaking to Mary Kimani, chairperson of the Lake Naivasha Biodiversity Youth Group. So we'll take a short break and we'll be right back. Welcome back. We are still here with Mary Kimani, chairperson of the Lake Naivasha Biodiversity Youth Group. Now, Mary, there is a claim that there is little involvement of the local communities in decision-making processes with regards to conservation efforts. Do you agree with that? And if so, how is that being rectified or changed?
Okay, yeah, I do agree. You find, like for the county government, maybe they don't involve the community in whatever they do. And like, who are the people? Who are the conservers of the people who conserve the environment? The local community.
Sure.
And I believe maybe for us as youth group, there are those local community that knew the place well before we were born.
True.
And if the involvement is very critical, because we might not be able to implement everything if we don't involve them. Then we might come up with ideas and implement them. And since they were not involved, they will destroy whatever we have created.
The lake is actually a Ramsar site.
Yeah.
Which what does that mean, first of all?
A Ramsar site is a wetland. It's a wetland. And as is the tradition, the celebration of wetlands have been happening yearly, which is on 2nd February every year. Yeah.
Funding for conservation is a very complex, they are very complex mechanisms. What do you think should be done to make them more accessible to youth groups like yours?
You find, like maybe for the NGCDF within Naivasha, people don't have the knowledge that money exists. Since they don't have the knowledge that money exists, it's either taken back to the treasury. So I believe the government should create more awareness that there is the environmental kit fund, and youth group and and the community should be able to access the money easily.
Have you been applying? Have you accessed?
No, we haven't applied. What we have been trying, it's the international writing international proposals so that we can be funded. But you find, even if you go to the county office, there's little information given to you concerning the environment money. Yeah, which I believe is 2% of the total amount given to the constituency.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, let's look at the future. How does the next 5 years look like for you in terms of conservation?
For me as a person
and as a group,
we want to see like an educated community within Naivasha, educated school-going kids and also students, whereby will impact their lives. They will be able to say, if not for Lake Naivasha biodiversity, our town couldn't be like this. And also fight for the lake. Like now you can see there's a lot of trash and garbage finding its way to the lake. Why should not people not be aware of the challenges facing the lake? And you find also, like I believe, the solution to climate change, it's not only planting trees. We start by creating awareness. If people are aware, they will be able to conserve. But so one of the things that I want to achieve as the chairperson and also as a youth leader is creating the gap, the knowledge gap between with people who are conserving and people who are trying to not to conserve and exploit the environment. I also look where every school-going kid will be proud of the environment within their ecosystem. Yeah.
Before we wind up, I have a trick question for you. A plane is flying from Nairobi to Kisumu, and it crashes somewhere between Nairobi and Kisumu. Where will they bury the survivors?
The exact place that's there. Every survivor will be taken to his home place.
Be buried there.
Yeah.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
But they survived. Why should they be buried? All right. So we've been speaking and having fun with Mary Kimani, chairperson of the Lake Naivasha Biodiversity Youth Group. Thank you so much for speaking to us and for having fun with us.
Thank you so much for hosting me.
All right, we'll catch you on the next episode.